Fears always lead you back to the same place that you were running from. Fear is nothing but false evidence appearing real. Whatever changes you make to ensure that your fears never materialize end up attracting the very reality envisioned by those fears. Hi everyone, this is Gracie. Welcome back to my channel Graceful Mess. The year 2023 has been such a roller coaster for me. This is the year where I got to see my own toxic patterns, the fears that were driving me for so long, my insecurities, my toxic personality traits. So, today I just wanted to share my journey of identifying my fears, understanding how these fears drive our actions, our decision makings, and how I learned to overcome them. So, first, let's understand what fears do to us. Say, our friend John has a fear of losing his job. So, this might make him motivated to put in extra work, bring out his A game. But beyond a certain point, it may make him anxious and reduce his overall productivity. So, John starts putting in extra hours, and to impress his boss, he's always present in every meeting, always coming up with ideas, doing more work than his co workers, making sure that nobody steals the credit of his work. But how it looks on the outside to his co workers, he's doing more work than others, making sure that the boss is aware of it. And this is all very visible to the colleagues. In a large team, bosses generally prefer employees who showcase team spirit and involve everyone. John is always talking about his latest work assignment or his latest achievement, but it comes off as bragging or trying too hard. His boss, who has already surpassed the stage he is in right now, is also aware of all the team dynamics and how it works, at that stage. In an attempt to do a lot and to ensure that nobody steals the credit, John actually ends up taking on more than he can handle. This leads to mistakes and delays in delivering on time. And let's be honest, nobody really works in a silo, be it at workplace or even at home. You always need other people's support, uh, because they are the ones who may provide you the input for your output or vice versa. Like your output can become their input. Uh, in companies, everyone is always linked. No person can truly operate alone. So by tuning out his co-workers, John reduces the chances of them helping him when he needs it. Slowly, John reaches a stage where his work is not up to the mark, and the bosses can also notice the antagonistic attitude between him and his teammates. The possibility of him losing his job is more likely now than when he first started. So, you see, fears can motivate you, but beyond a certain point, they can really make your life toxic. They can make your presence unpleasant to other people. Let's take few more examples. People who are very health conscious take good steps to ensure that they are fit and fine, but people who are too afraid of sickness and take too many unnecessary pills at every site of a potential symptom end up making themselves sick due to overdose. People pleasers are afraid of negative opinions, so they try too hard to impress everyone. In this way, they end up burdening themselves with too much responsibilities and expectations which they are not able to meet, and they end up disappointing the very people they worked so hard to impress. Their life resembles the very reality they hated. In reality, nobody really cares about anyone, and no one can guarantee universal acceptance. Someday or the other, everyone will have to face criticism. And when they do, the sky will come crashing on their heads and they will feel that all that extra work led to nowhere. Let's see how to handle fears. First thing is to realize that fear is not an actual reality. It's a possibility. In a universe of million possibilities, you only attract the reality that you constantly think about. Your vibrations define your reality. So if you're constantly thinking of what will happen if your fears come true and constantly planning to make sure it doesn't happen, that is exactly what is going to happen. Scary, right? Now, if your fears are too big and you can't really help but think about them all the time, you can do an exercise to reduce the intensity of fear. You may do an exercise where you sit with someone or by yourself and you ask all these questions to yourself as if someone else was asking them. The questions about the worst case scenarios that you think about, what is so bad about them, what is so scary about them, what is invoking that fear, what painful memory it is that is triggering all those fears, all those pains. Uh, you know, for an example, that if your boss does not like your work, do you really think he will fire you? Is it really that easy to fire someone? Uh, can you not learn from your mistakes? Can you not take advice from your boss on how to improve further? Can you not take help from your coworkers? And write all this down. This will make you feel more in control of the situation because you would have already covered all the worst case scenarios, the reasons why you think that they are worst case scenarios, and prepare an action plan for them. This way, your fear's intensity will go down. And the third way that I have found most useful with fears is that really envision your life, how it will get affected, even if you have to live through the reality that you're afraid of. Would you still be healthy, alive, supported by your family? I recently heard the case of a world renowned psychotherapist who was afraid of rejection by women. So he started going out on dates, and every time he got rejected, he found out that the woman did not take out any knife or call the police as he used to think about in his wild imagination. He said, and none of it ever happened, you know. It wasn't as bad as he thought it to be. In fact, with every rejection, he only got better and better. So you see that the situation that you're so scared of may not actually be as bad as you think it to be. So if you're afraid that your boss does not like your work, maybe go and sit with him and ask him what your weaknesses are, how you can improve on them. Ask help from your coworkers on how you can get better. If you're too shy to interact with other people, maybe take a chance and sit with strangers and make a conversation with them. You'll find out new things about your own self, that how brave you can be, how interesting you can be, how much people like your company, how much you have to offer to conversations. I was myself a people pleaser and I used to work so hard to earn the best appraisal rating every year. I would always outperform all my colleagues, and I almost got addicted to all that appreciation and high appraisal ratings. I used to lie to myself that I was only doing this to earn a higher incentive, being ambitious is good. But the reality was that I was addicted to all that appreciation. But one year I got lower appraisal rating, and it was like the sky came crashing onto my head, all my fears coming true. And the rating was not even that bad, it was just lower than my expectation. But once all my anxiety subsided, I actually felt relief because it was the worst case scenario that I would always try to avoid, but it has now already happened. I am that person who has already received a lower appraisal rating, so I no longer have to maintain that standard of. It had been so tiring and exhausting all these years, always trying to outperform everyone, working overtime, working at night, preparing all those presentations, doing extra work. But now I'm choosing to go easy on me. And no, I'm not giving up on work completely, but I'm choosing to balance my work with my personal life, taking out time for myself, choosing not to do overtime regularly, delegating work that can be delegated. You must try out these methods and see which fears are becoming toxic in your life and how you can reduce their intensity. The situations that you're so scared of, are they really that bad? What's the worst that will happen if they come true? And take logical steps to set yourself free from all the work that you do to circumvent your life around those fears.